Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Discussion with a Friend. I'm Jay, that's Rod. And unfortunately, we're finally here. We're at the end of season one, but we have major things in store for season two. I'm going to let Rodney talk about that a little bit. So go ahead for it, Rod.
So season two, we're basically just building upon season one. I kind of view it like season one was our test run just to see where our audience and fan base would lie. Once again, we want to say thank you all for tuning in on Facebook. We really appreciate everybody watching those videos. But we're now going to be moving to YouTube, just a better interactive audience there. And really excited for the next season. We're going to be implementing a lot of different edits, a lot of different episodes that you might not see. This episode is actually one of those more different kind of episodes, just like a wrap up. So yeah, I'm gonna let Jay talk a little bit more about it, but it's a complete turnaround from what we did season one, and we looking forward to bigger and better.
Yeah, it's pretty much a total makeover starting from our intro. Our intro is finito. Like, that's just not something we're going to use anymore. We have something a little bit more professional. The intro song, that's changing as well. We got something that's geared literally specifically for Discussion with the Friend podcast and nothing else. But we do appreciate you, Cole, for letting us use your song as the
My
intro
boy.
song for all these years. I said years. Wow. All these videos. But
It feel like years.
yeah, I do. But also, what we have going on is we have official sponsors. Our number one sponsor is Anchor.fm, which we need to start promoting them a little bit more. We're going to start doing that a lot more in our new season. We also have a clothing line as a sponsor, which is my own personal clothing line, which I will discuss in the future once that launches. And then we have Purify Me Products, which is an oil and butter company. So you're going to start seeing those logos. You're going to start seeing those videos of just advertising for those businesses in particular, because I mean, once again, they are our sponsors and we have connections to them and we want to make them grow and they want to make us grow. So that's what we have going on for that. Um, what else do we have at the top of the year that we're doing for our podcast, Rod?
Top of the year. Um, well, we have a couple of different ideas. I don't really want to spoil everything for you guys now because it's like, you'll just have to really watch and tune in to see what we're going to be doing differently. But like I said, there's going to be different ways we're doing these episodes. So you guys have seen it in the past where we've had like one to two more people on for an episode for a discussion. You might see a new host added. You might see a couple of different guests, more high profile guests. I'm not gonna share anything
Say
yet,
any
but
names.
just some things to keep in mind. So we're really trying to just do our best to upgrade the pod for you guys' pleasure, you guys' viewership. That's all that matters. We're just trying to grow. And that's all we care about at the end of the day. We're trying to make it look good and grow and steady progress. So let's get it.
Yeah, so like he said, we're trying to grow, we're trying to do better, and hopefully this new year with YouTube, we know we're gonna have some struggles and some hiccups in terms of viewership and in terms of getting subscribers and things like that because we're moving new platforms entirely. So of course there's gonna be some hiccups, some little things that go wrong, but stay with us. We're gonna stay with y'all, and we're gonna just keep giving out great content, and our content clearly is getting more professional as we grow. As you can see in this episode today, we will be looking over our past videos and we're going to pick like our top 8 or so videos. And we do have videos that we also want to talk about that aren't necessarily our top 8. And it's going to be some good feedback from us and some bad feedback from us of what we did in certain videos and how we could do things better. But regardless, we have a lot in store and we do pay attention to our quality and we understand there's things that we can fix and we are fixing everything in 2022. Well, everything that we possibly can. Anyway, let's hop right into it, my brother. Share my screen real quick.
Bet, let's get it.
You can see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start off with episode 1. So, can you hear the audio?
Go
Let's see.
ahead, play it for me a little bit. It's a little low.
Oh, I ain't gonna be able to turn it up. But I mean, yeah, as long as you can hear it a little bit.
Okay, I can hear it.
All right, so where do you want to go and what do you want to talk about with this episode specifically?
Well, first off, I will say that this was the episode that started it all for us. We had already talked, I think maybe a month or a couple weeks before this. It really was. We started this pretty fast after we got the idea to do it. Once we met up, we were like, "Yeah, let's do this." We started it pretty fast, so this was what it looked like. You could see that, like, it's so many different things I could talk about this episode, just for me personally, as far as like quality and just like, like camera settings and all types of stuff like that. But I will say that not only was it the start of DWAF, but it was a chance for us to show you guys where we're trying to go with this podcast and our vision and how we think as men. We really were able to outline what we wanted from this podcast, why we were interested in doing such a thing, and really just try to set an outline and the groundwork for what it would be for the upcoming year. We didn't really know necessarily we would even be at this point. We didn't have no guideline about like how many episodes we were going to have for a season or however long it's going to last. Like, this is really like a true trial run, but it did pretty well. Like I said, I think it's just, for me, it's cringy watching any of the videos or anything I do, because it's just like it just looks cringy to me. But that was the biggest takeaway I feel like from this episode. It's called The Vision. So really, we are painting a vision for you all to see, like, this is what they want to do with this pod. This is where they went. This is how they think. This, that, and the third. But yeah, so that's really, I think, the biggest thing. So the biggest takeaway from this episode, what would you say that was for you?
For me, this episode would easily have to be the moment. Let me see if I could actually scrub that and find that real quick. Let's see here. We got to skip over that. Appreciate you though, Jimmy, but we're trying to look for something.
My boy Jimmy G, I been banger. Bro, you can also tell like how passionate we were like in the first, because like we were just so geeked to
just to do it. But I can't really find particularly where I'm looking for, so I'm just gonna pretty much tell you. So the part of this episode that I found like intriguing and something that I took was when we discussed why and what 2021 meant to us and what we were planning to achieve in 2021. So I'll throw that up on the screen right now so you guys could actually see the recording, just so you guys know what portion of the video I'm talking about. But I'm talking about where we decided what was our specific word or specific saying for the year. I said it's the year of why not. You said it was the year of consistency. And I really do feel like for me, it really truly was the year of why not. I lived up to that. Like, anything possible. Why not move? Why not go here? Why not be home for a month and a half and travel? Why not start this business? Why not start this business? Why not do this? Why not do that? So I felt like that really helped me, basically, because I always went back to this episode in terms of what I was doing for the year. It was literally, why not? I want to do everything imaginable, everything possible that I can do. So I actually enjoyed that portion of the episode. And then 2022, episode 1, I actually want to discuss the same thing. I want to see what we have in store for 2022, what special word or what special saying that we have for that year.
I like that. Yeah, I remember we talked about that. And a lot of people actually held me accountable for what I said, because I had said consistency, and people would be like, "Oh, like it's the year of consistency," and it was. I'm not gonna act like I was perfect and I didn't fall off at times, but like I was saying in this episode, it's not really about falling off or staying on. It's, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but at the end of the day, it's like, are you going to make the active choice to keep doing what you need to do to get to where you want to go? You're going to have setbacks, you're going to have days, Some people have weeks, some people have months, whatever it might be. But you have to come to that point, and we talked about this further down the line in sequential episodes. But what are you going to do when you're faced with those kind of challenges? Are you going to continue to be consistent, or are you going to go in the other direction? So I feel like this year was really a good chance to keep being consistent and go in the right direction. I really feel like I gave myself a good chance for the next year to set it up and, really get to where I want to be. Like, this was one of them years I felt like it was like a camp, like a training camp or something. Like I was, getting my stuff right, getting the, equipment right, getting, living situation right, finances right, whatever it might be, in order to really get me in that position. And now it's like I have the mindset that I need as far as, being successful and the resources to get that ultimate success in the next year. So I like what you said about revisiting that though, and doing that in season 2. I think that would be a great idea. And of course we would have different words or phrases to describe the new year. But yeah, this was a real good chance for us to really build off of from this episode here. Cause it's like, we're both not even living in the same spot in this episode, which is crazy.
Yeah, man, that go back to the year. Why not? Why not move? And we switch places. All right, man. So let's look at, we're just going to go in whatever order this is. We're not saying in any order that these are particularly our favorite one. Like, because I'm sure you have a different number one than I have. But
right.
Anyways, let's go into episode 3.
I wish they would try to. For one, my utility, they need to send me a check, man. I'm not paying y'all nothing this month. Y'all need to send me a check.
Yeah,
is y'all
locked in?
Well, I was going
y'all
off
rates
on
locked
here. They got me hot.
Awesome. Say.
Oh wait, no, they're not. No.
Yo, your bill could be crazy right now. Like it really could be.
Matter of fact, they just sent it out. I'm not gonna read it, but I'm just gonna look and you'll see my face.
Yeah, else to say it really could be something greasy, bro.
But I'm not gonna read it. All right, so
talking about the bill.
Yeah, in this episode, I just thought this was a good, all a good around episode, just because it was extremely funny, man. Like you was being serious with the issues that Texas was facing with that winter storm, but you also didn't let it take over where you were so angry and upset that you couldn't actually talk about it or joke about it. It still was a good time and it still was hilarious. The things that I do not like in this episode that I could tell you right now, my camera quality is buns. Like
mine's terrible. Mine's worse.
I was about to get there too. Yours is worse. I can't even lie. Like
God, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the noise and all of that. Like it just looked bad, bro. But once again, it goes back to the quality issue that we know we had to fix, and we are actually there. We fixed that. You've bought a new webcam. I use my DSLR cam. You bought a new microphone. I'm using the same microphone. Like it's things that we need to adjust, and we adjusted those things. So I'm proud of what we've achieved so far. But this episode, like I said, was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I would have to say it's probably the funniest episode, just because like this was like I didn't rehearse none of this. Like this is really how I felt. Like I was hot about this. It had just happened, but obviously, like you talked about the camera quality issues and stuff like. And like just look at your lighting, bro. Like your lighting is, oh my god,
foul. Yeah,
you got stuff to upgrade that as well. But yeah, we're not even going to talk about the quality and stuff. Obviously, it's the 3rd episode, but I think the gem was the fact that it was funny, it was entertaining, it was facts. I was actually spitting facts, talking about ERCOT and all this stuff because I really was keeping up on the mugs, like on the minute, on the hour. Like, I was really trying to figure out, because they had us out in the dark. And it's like, I can't believe that storm lasted, like, it was like a week and a half. And, people be trying to act like that never happened. Like, already they be trying to act like that never happened. But
it don't feel like it happened to me being out here. I can't even lie. It's great.
Man, bro.
It's great. We had like 80-degree weather today, bro. It's like, it's December, so.
Hey, this global warming real, because it's not even cold up here.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to think about. All right, bro. Let's move on to we got episode 4 with Howie. So I'm gonna go in a little bit more.
There are times that you need to be in control of your emotions, you know. And like you were saying, like you hit it
I
on the
wanted
head.
to go to the point where we kind of talked about
people around. That's when you were never told, like, you can't even.
There we go. This is the portion I want to get into.
Like you get in a fight or something, you start crying, you gotta hurry up and wipe it off. Like,
Immediately.
I can't let nobody see. Like, I gotta hurry up and be good.
And you know, it does suck bottling things up, but
which part is this?
And you know, to a degree, sometimes it might be unhealthy. But if you're at the expense of your own emotions, you're bottling it up so someone else feels better in those circumstances, I think you're being a man right there. I'm not gonna lie. Like, at the funeral with my Uncle Junie, like, my great grandma, she was devastated. This is her brother that she's grown up with, and you know, she was really hurt. And I'm sure she's thinking about it too. Like, this could be me soon too.
Right.
Just be.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about just that portion of the episode because that's where our vulnerability started. Like, where we slowly start introducing our audience into our actual mind. Like, we wasn't trying to be too hard. We wasn't trying to be too soft. I mean, we'd never be too soft. It's just not who we are. But, and you know what I mean? So, like,
yeah,
I thought this was a good portion because we did discuss the different type of feelings that men have that men can't oftentimes say or basically show, because if you show that, you do look like what I said in the video. You look like, man, what's wrong with you, bro? You tripping, you soft. So I thought that was just a very good a good episode, especially because this is episode I want to say 4, and like episode 19 or 20 we got full and deep with our emotions and feelings. So it was a total jump from what we were basically talking about in this particular episode.
Yeah, I think that was the best part of this episode. And it's crazy because obviously with the routine that we were running with the guests, it was mostly centered around the guests and what they did in their profession. And it was, but you know, Howie is obviously a good friend of ours. So it kind of just got off on that topic of, you know, masculinity and, you know, vulnerability and how to, you know, react. You know, we talking about like when people pass away and like death and how that affects you in certain ways. Like I remember because I was talking about this one guy at my church, how he died and how, like, you know, I started crying and stuff. So like we really did get down and, you know, we kind of touched on some like root topics, you know, especially as men. Like that was a really good conversation to have, a good discussion to have. But I do like the discussion we had just talking about Howie's job and how he, you know, dealt with teaching during COVID and, you know, especially that was his first year. So, you know, his relationship with the kids and everything and, you know, just talking about like how it is teaching and then like, you know, how we were like coming up as students. So I think that was a good conversation too. But yeah, I think the highlight was obviously when we started getting, you know, down in depth about like vulnerability and stuff. That was a really good conversation. And it kind of paved the way for us in like later episodes when we had like a discussion with like close friends and stuff, like, you know. So I think that this is really I don't want to say overlooked because it got love, but I think this is like an underrated episode.
I would agree there. I can definitely agree with that.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to episode 5. I actually don't know which one this one is. So episode 5. Oh, Kim.
Oh yeah.
So just for starters, this is one of my homies, and she was very, very excited to hop on our podcast. So like off top, she was just spitting facts. As you can see, we're 7 minutes into the video. She going crazy.
And take action to make change. Or else people wouldn't move into bigger houses. People wouldn't go for promotions. People wouldn't change jobs. They can still be grateful for what they had or have and try to change. If they're saying that, I feel like they're just hiding behind whatever fear is actually holding them back.
The gratitude.
All right, so we could just start right there. But I actually want to discuss a little. She kind of mentioned what I want to talk about, but on this particular episode that I like is she talked about finding your fit. So like finding your fit in terms of what workouts you can and can't do, finding your fit in terms of what your body can handle and what it can't handle, finding your fit in terms of your diet and things like that. That was kind of new to me because like from my perspective of being someone that like works out, someone that eats healthy, I don't really know what a find your fit is. To me, it's this is the healthiest way. This is another healthy way. This is another healthy way. There's no, I'm going to find my fit based off of what I think works well for me, because it kind of makes me think if you got to find your fit, that means you aren't uncomfortable. So if you do want to grow muscle, if you finding your fit, you knowing exactly what you like and what your body can handle, then how could you really grow? But she kind of talked about that a little bit in this episode. So I thought that was a very, very good portion of the episode, and I actually enjoyed that one. And plus, she got on and she was super energetic, and I like that type of energy. So
Yeah, I do. I really did enjoy the energy, and I enjoy her story, just talking about where she came from and how she, got to this point as being like a trainer, nutritionist, and, talking about like her going to school and, her different failures to get her to where she is now. I think that was very insightful. But I also like, it's kind of going back to what you were saying about her thinking with your find your fit thing. But when she started talking about like the other aspects of health and fitness, things that I didn't think of, like, I mean, I thought of, but I didn't really incorporate it when I was talking about like my health, but like sleep, and then like talking about like your gut biome, like basically your stomach having like a mind of its own. Like, but it's like, I always knew that was a thing, but like, she like broke it down with like the scientific facts. Like you have like a gut biome, and basically like, what you put in, that's gonna like determine like your mood and your feelings and stuff like that. Like I never really thought about it until we had this kind of conversation, which kind of like shaped me to think about like other aspects of health. Not that I just neglected stuff, but like sleep and, like obviously eating. But just like, intensity in the gym, like duration in the gym. Like, do I need to be in the gym for 2 hours, or, can I get a useful 30-minute workout in, or, do I need to go 6-7 times a week, or can I go 4-5 times a week and make it count? She kind of broke things down that I already had an idea about. So I appreciated her for that. But yeah, her energy was very good too. And I think we all had like a good conversation. This was one of the ones where it wasn't like we were just agreeing with her. We were really asking her questions. Yeah. And then like, if it didn't sound how we thought it would sound, well, why,
Right. That's cap.
What do you mean on me? Yeah. Like this was a good one. So yeah, I appreciate this episode too.
All right. So let's go to episode 9. Tron.
To be for me to get
that boy looking swole in there.
Because the onus is on them to tell you the truth. But you need to honestly constantly monitor what's going on and the feedback. And don't buy into the whole give it another year. Give it another year. No, because that's the corporate jargon. And I tell you right now, that's something that's like a lot of people fell in doing. Where people stay places for 7 years and then they build resentment. And with, when they build resentment, they're not a likable person to be around. It's partly them, but it's also partly like the company that you work for. Their job is to get as much out of you as possible while paying you the most. It's inherently against you, right? And a lot of people will say, look, at least I got a 401k. At least I get paid.
All right. So I thought this was probably the most educational video we have to offer. Hands down to me, because he came from so many different perspectives, and he's a younger dude. He's 28, I believe, or 29, one of the two. And he's sort of like a mentor, sort of like a friend too. So I like when he talks, I kind of listen, because sometimes he really be speaking. And this was an episode where I really felt like he was speaking and he was coming from the heart, especially when he talked about how if you're Black or you're a person of color, you need to have both people skills and you need to have both technical skills. Because I think that's absolutely true. If there's a white person that has the people skills, but their technical skills aren't exactly there, they'll probably get the job over somebody that only has good technical skills if you're Black. Like, you got to have both in order to even have like a fighting chance. Just because, I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. When you have a white manager, it's not crazy for him to also want a white employee, because you're gonna hire whoever represents you the most and whoever you communicate best with. So it's just like if it's the other way around. If it's a black manager, you probably want a black coworker because you know how to relate to them, you understand them, you know the way they talk, you know the way they communicate, et cetera, et cetera. So I enjoyed that portion of this episode.
Hey, that's facts. And I'll say there was only 2 episodes that we did this season where I felt like, not that I always think I'm the smartest person in the room, but I really felt like I was like not dumb, but I wasn't there yet. Like what their knowledge, their wisdom is eclipsed of what I have. And that has a lot to do with their age and then, you know, their profession. So that's Tron, and then, you know, my cousin that we had on for episode 2 that was talking about COVID. Those are the only 2 episodes where I truly felt like I need to really listen. Not that I didn't want to listen to everybody else, but like I knew for a fact that these people are smart and they're very wise and I need to pay attention. You know, he said a lot of different things in this episode that resonated with me that I needed to hear at the time, especially when he talked about like job outlook and knowing where you need to be within like the first 6 months to a year at your job, having those annual or quarterly meetings with your boss or supervisor to know where you stand, to know, you know, what kind of growth is available in that job. Those are just things that nobody's going to tell you about. Like, you know, nobody's ever told me about job outlook, or I need to be talking to my supervisor, whoever it is, or like you need to, you know, advocate for your goals and your growth, that whatever. They're not telling you about that type of stuff. And I don't think they're doing that intentionally. It's just, you know, there's not really anything built for that, especially when you're talking about like black people and males in general. He really just spit a lot of facts that I feel like resonated with me in general. But he also was very real. You know, he wasn't trying to like hold it over nobody's head. Like I done been here, did all this stuff or whatever, which he could have, you know, but he was really just trying to put people on free game. And, you know, I think this episode did well, but I really feel like this should have been the one if there was anyone to like take off. Cause like, man, bro, like if people was really just studying this tape, like I feel like if you watch this tape like once a day, every day for like
yeah,
a
you'll
year,
be cool.
you'll be good, bro. Like, cause bro just spitting, and it's like, it's not like it's no, oh, well, I wonder if he telling you, this is what I did this when I was here. Ooh, this how you do this. So it's like a whole blueprint right here. But we definitely, and that's like another, something I noticed in this episode. I really didn't talk that much, but that's because I really was trying to listen. And it's like, I don't like being that person to talk a lot when, you know, I'm not really adding nothing of value to the conversation. So, you know, I asked my questions here and there. You know, we went back and forth, you know, when it allowed, but when he was saying some stuff that I wasn't privy of, you know, I'm trying to soak that information up. And I really feel like that's what I did. I still revisit this episode. So I thank him for that.
Yeah, good EP for sure, man. My boy Tron. Shout out that boy Tron. Yeah, this is pretty new. This is the I Mean You Know episode. So in this, let's just jump to something random because this whole video was good. So he could literally go anywhere. Yeah, that's a perfect jump.
Yeah, this was a good episode.
So with this episode, we can just talk about this little clip that I just showed. In this particular clip, in this segment of the episode, we were talking about alcohol and why me and Rodney are, well, I'm totally giving it up. It's just not for me and Rodney. It's significantly slowing down, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't want to speak for you or nothing like that. But yeah, this episode was just a damn good episode, and especially this portion because I finally got the chance to tell people why I just don't think alcohol is for me anymore. We all talked about the society reasons behind alcohol, how some people use alcohol to basically be social, how other people use alcohol to deal with emotions and things like that. This all around is a great episode, and I suggest everybody watch it. But that particular portion of this episode was my favorite because that's a discussion that I've been having in my mind. That's a discussion I've been having with my friends. That's a discussion that I've been having with God of I need to get rid of alcohol and it's just not for me. And I know without it, I can really see who I truly am and see my true value of the world and what I have going for myself. So yeah, this is episode 21. This is actually our latest episode, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
go check it out. But yeah, to piggyback off of that, I also like this episode because this was I think this is the only episode where we had the guests ask us questions.
Yes.
About, what it, we had different topics we talked about as far as relationships, like platonic relationships with men and women. We talked about moving from your hometown. Do you need to? What do you think it, comes from that? And then we talked about alcohol, with young adults and, societal reasons, societal views on it. So we kind of touched a bunch of different topics, but it was cool because, we didn't really have to do much research like we usually do. We have to get research done and make sure they have us, send this stuff or whatever. But it was kind of like a real good discussion based episode. But we weren't the ones that were orchestrating it. And then I think my favorite part was really when we started talking about the platonic relationships. I think that's where we kind of it was more entertaining because everybody had a different view. It's funny because I think it was kind of like more so you and Jill were citing and then me and Jess were citing, but there were different points and whatnot. So that was a really good one. But yeah, the alcohol stuff, that was a good discussion that was needed. I think that a lot of people our age could use that kind of realistic discussion, because you got to realize what's your relationship with something, like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to just be alcohol or a drug, but something that's negative. You got to realize what's your relationship to that. And then you'll be able to assess how to move forward. So I feel like we kind of really got to that point with alcohol where we realize our relationship with it and we know what we need to do to move forward. And for you, it's cutting it out. For me, it's damn near cutting it out because, it's not like I really drink like that as is, but I'm just trying to limit those times and, find a better way to use that time. But this is a really good episode. And yeah, it was our last one before this.
All right, and we got a life of automation, and this was a great episode. Before we even start, we got it. I was looking crazy in that. Let's go to.
Do that real quick.
I believe
I was looking crazy on here.
Theatricality and deception, powerful agents to the uninitiated.
Yo, that's
We are
crazy.
initiated, aren't we, Bruce?
My boy
Members of the
Steven.
League of Shadows.
Bro,
Yo,
he
that's-
really liked that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hold on, man. I got a question actually. So, how do you?
That boy was hitting them voices.
Yeah, that was just super cold. I think he did Optimus Prime in this as well, but this is just a super cold episode just because, as you can see, with my facial expressions, I was so entertained because this is not something that I've ever even imagined in my head of something that I would even care about or even come across. I never in my head thought, man, I want to be a voiceover actor or I want to do this. I want to talk to someone that's a voiceover actor. But this was one of my favorite episodes because the dude was just a genuine happy dude doing exactly what he wanted to do, regardless of how much money he was making, regardless of where he was at. He was just happy. And I just thought this was a very dope episode. So, and I enjoyed that voiceover. That was super cool. So
Facts. I think that's a good takeaway. Let's say you don't even like what he does or whatever it is, you don't like radio, you don't like automation, all that stuff. It's not for everybody. The one thing I feel like anybody could take from the episode was his attitude. Like he really was just genuinely like motivated to do this. This is something that he loves to do, and he's happy about it. He's carefree about it, and I feel like nothing but good things will come to you with that kind of attitude and whatever you're doing. And it's like he has his hats in a lot of different arenas. He's not just doing voice acting for one person. He's doing it for multiple people, freelance. He was working on some kind of Transformers movie. He's working at different radio stations. So like that was something that was good just to see his mindset, his attitude. And then obviously the voices, this man was going crazy. And, me being who I am, I watched a lot of cartoons growing up. I still watch, I don't really watch them like that, but I be watching anime. So I always used to think about like, and I'll be watching anime. I don't know if y'all can see it, but this anime jacket, you feel me? But I always wondered about the voice actor because I know like the famous voice actors for like Goku and like people like that. Vegeta, Frieza voice actor just died too whole time. R.I.P. to Shorty. But I wonder what went into that. Like, how are you able to do that? Like, and for him to just be able to cue it up like that, just at a moment's notice, like, I feel like that's a talent because, like somebody's going to want that voice for something. And, he kind of talked about like how it works. Like he gets a script and, he does it. He has a certain amount of time to do it. So like he went over the logistics and all that stuff, which is helpful too for anybody that's looking to get into that. But the last thing I'll say is I got you beat on Bane because, you think darkness is your ally. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see I can't mess with Steven. He got the voice acting down, but yeah, this was a good episode.
For sure. All right, we got roll my sleeves up. I think this is actually one of my probably top two, and it might not be two videos. Yeah, roll my sleeves up, and then the other one was see through my lens that was up there. But we can just pick some random. I don't even know who about to talk, but we're about to see.
It's because of the people who's running everything. The white men are the one who's running the police departments, who's running the FBI. Those are the people that they care about. So they're going to take care of those people first. That's just human nature. That's the people who are... That
was enough right there. So this goes to what I was saying about this episode, why it's one of my favorite, because we went across the board and talked about so many different things. In this episode, we did talk about white girl missing syndrome, is that what they call it or whatever. But we talked about how it seems like when a white person is missing, everyone goes out of their way to make sure they're sharing posts. They go out of their way to make sure they just, show awareness about that white person missing. But when it's a black person or a person of color, it doesn't go the same way. And I just thought that was a good portion of the episode because I was trying to legit figure out why that is, because I even talked about how, for example, it was another guy that passed away at this time that we were talking about this white girl missing syndrome, and we were sharing more about the white girl than him, even though he was closer to us in a radius. So it was kind of crazy just to think about how much the mind has to do with that as well. So I just thought this was a great episode. And if you haven't already, you definitely need to check this out. I think this is our number one viewed video, actually. It has like 1,200 views or something like that. So,
yes, sir. This is a great episode. Another really good discussion episode.
1,500 videos.
Whenever we have 4 people on, I think that's just like a good recipe for a good discussion. But we really posed a lot of different questions that were not always agreed upon about everybody. So we talked about like the money or life thing. We brought up a couple counters to that. Then, we talked about the white girl missing syndrome. And that was a good conversation as well. You always worry a little bit when you talk about stuff when we're talking about race and all these other things. So I think that was a good discussion that we were able to have with friends. And I think that was another thing that really made me like this episode. And not to say that we hadn't did it before with like Jill and Jess and them, but this was, this is all our guys. Like we hang out, we take trips together. So I really viewed this as like a good check-in episode just to see where everybody was at and, just, keep our minds working. We were talking about some, not that we talk about BS, but these are some meaningful topics, and
Everybody talk about BS though.
Right. So I think it was just good though to have a check-in and an open dialogue about these things. And yeah, it's our highest viewed video, so that's got to count for something.
Yeah, and then last but not least, this looks a little blurry. This is not how this video actually is. If you guys do check this out, this is a great video as well. It's episode 20, and I'm going to pick just somewhere random once again.
Highlight for real. I just learned something for Rodney, man. It hit me while he was talking, and it was that one of the biggest things that I think I was struggling with that I just mentally, I'd passed through. So I have another, piece of my arsenal to attack this issue with is that you can't be oblivious to the fact you're not perfect. Like let that realism of what happened sit in so you're able to deal with.
All right, so I'm gonna end it right there because I want y'all to go back and watch that video in that particular moment because that was a good sermon and that was a good connection that I got from that particular sermon. So in this portion, we were talking about how sitting and basically sobbing and just being useless literally means nothing. It's just gonna in turn create more uselessness and laziness in your life. So I think it's important for someone to, if they're going through something, for you to, actually go through it and like make yourself aware that you're going through something, but don't make it something where you cannot continue to move on. You can't continue to walk on in life. And we kind of talked about this. We all came from different perspectives. There was some stuff I agreed on. There was some stuff I didn't agree on, but there was some stuff that regardless of me not agreeing on it, I felt better leaving the conversation because I had a new perspective. And now I'll use that perspective in the future when I'm looking at somebody else and what they're going through. This to me it's like 3 episodes that are like tied for top one. And this definitely is one of them. This is the one where I've got the most feedback. The other one got the most views. The one with just them probably was the most entertaining from perspective of a male and a female audience. But this, if you are a male and you are a young male, this has to be the video out of all the videos that you need to watch across the board. So I love this episode. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I would say this is the most empathetic episode we have, probably because, like you said, we're all talking about different perspectives. We're talking about failure. We're talking about being at your lowest moment, and how you deal with that and how different people deal with that. So I think that was really just eye-opening for not only me, but, viewers watching the video. Because I think I started talking about catharsis, which is basically, it's like a breaking point moment with like emotions. So like what that could look like, because, we're talking about failure and stuff. So, like as men, you don't want to talk about crying and like being weak and feeling like, depression, stuff like that. But hey, like that stuff happens. Like, I don't care who you are. Like,
yeah,
everybody has those moments. And, a lot of the times it's going to be by yourself too. So it's like, what's the best way to deal with that? Like, do you need to cry? Do you need to go to the gym and work out? Do you need to, run, or do you need to eat? Hopefully you don't gorge yourself, but you need to do something to get past that fact or that brief moment, that flashpoint moment, and get back on track. Because if you don't deal with that in some way or fashion, it's going to continue to hinder you. You're never going to be able to get to where you need to be. You're going to be stuck on that. So I think this was probably our best episode, because I said it's the most empathetic, but like our best episode as far as connecting with the audience, because I feel like this is just something that everyone could relate to, no matter who you are. Everybody has these moments, and you have 4 different people talking about how they deal with the moment. So, I think it's damn near impossible to not take away something from an episode like this. So yeah, it's definitely in that top 2, top 1 discussion.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much all of the EPs that we have for this particular episode. And that's not saying that we don't like all the other episodes. There's great things in every episode. It's just that we didn't want to have a 3-hour long podcast, especially because this is our season finale episode. And once again, we're just really looking forward to season 2. We want to throw out there right now that you guys need to subscribe to our YouTube. We're going to have that before anything else, before timestamps, before we need that YouTube link. We need you guys to subscribe to that because that is where we'll be posting our new content. We'll still be posting videos on Facebook, but it's going to be like 5-10 minute clips. If you want to see the full episode, you're going to have to go to YouTube to see that, or you're going to have to listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So I just want to say thank you guys, and we appreciate y'all. And one last thing that we just want to throw out there. It's not happening right now, but in season 2, we will be doing a giveaway. We're not going to tell you what comes with the giveaway. We're not going to tell you what you win. Just know it's coming, and it's just for us to show our appreciation for our friends and family. We don't want to call you guys fans because some people do not like that. So I respect that. And friends and family, we just want to say thank you, and we appreciate y'all from the bottom of our hearts. And we love y'all.
Hey, I agree. I just want to say one thing to prep for season 2 and close out this last season. We appreciate everything that you guys have done as far as supporting. We're just trying to see this thing get bigger. We're just trying to see it grow. So one thing I could just ask, especially as we transition to YouTube, just be more interactive. We really enjoy people. I know me and Jay both get people that will comment or tell us about things they like or dislike in the pod separately, whether it's text or through a different app. But go ahead and hit us on the YouTube, comment on the video. And, if you like it, tell us you liked it. If you didn't like it, tell us you didn't like it. We're here for you guys. We want it to be an open stream of communication, an open stream of discussion. It's not just me and Jay discussion. It's not just me and Jay or whoever guests. It's you guys. We really want to have the discussion geared towards you all so we can learn from you all as well and vice versa. So that's the one thing I would just ask as we transition to the next season. We close out this last season. It couldn't have went any better than we expected. So we appreciate you guys for that, and see you in season 2.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all.